What's up? I am going to try to simultaneously do this live on both my business page and my personal page. I've never done this before, so I'm tripping out. Super cool. All right, I wanted to dive in and discuss something that continuously comes up in my own personal journey, but also certainly with all of my clients. And as a physiologist, it always comes back to laying down that physical foundation of just radical, exquisite health. But there are things that come up that can totally block that. And one of those things is hanging on to super painful experiences within relationships. And the thing with relationships is that they're really a mirror and a reflection. I mean, that's all that relationships are here to do for us, is to serve that purpose of seeing kind of what's inside of us that we get to go in and play with and kind of explore and say like, oh, these are actually parts of me that are really, darker parts of me, the shadows, the places that we try to hide, right? And we get to bring them out into light because when we see them in others, they trigger us. So I wanted to dive in here because this is such a cool way to absolutely transform your health. And it's linking this up together. So I'm super pumped and fired up to just share this quick training with you. And of course I can go way deeper because this is a huge, huge freaking topic. I'm gonna just not have to hold my phone here. Let's see if this works. Okay, so let me first just say that this comes down to, if you want to heal from a painful relationship, you first want to understand your aura. And your aura is simply, I like to think of your aura as your energetic measure of your health. And this is my gift for years. It's always kind of been like something I hid in myself, but I have this way of really tapping into someone's aura and like seeing it as a blueprint of like what's going on underneath their skin. And I've always kind of said that, like, I can see what their health is like because I can feel that energy around them. And it just shows me, it's an indication of like, are their organs firing in harmony? Are they full of zest and life and juice? Because that aura is going to radiate greater, right? And beyond that, everything in your space actually has a shared auric field. So whoever you're in space with, you are literally combining auras. You're combining energy, right? So if you think about it, that's really powerful. And above that, you're going to attract and continue to attract the same kind of people into your aura, right? Until you decide like, oh, this is something that doesn't feel good, like let me look into this. So the bottom line is like, you can put up, I know lots of coaches talk about like, get the energy vampires out, put up a bubble, put up a shield and protect yourself. But I say no, like that may be a band-aid, but we can go deeper than that. Like if you get in there and you change your frequency, you get to rise above that and attract in either new relationships, or you're just simply not going to be affected by that same energetic charge that was affecting you before because you've actually healed from it. And this is about healing. This isn't about running from or avoiding or putting up a bubble and a shield. And in that world, it's like a fear, lack, scarcity state where you're always trying to put up like a shield, right? So you want to look specifically at your relationships and who you've attracted into your life that, maybe it's just not serving you right now. You get to be the person that cleans up your aura and your energy so that you can magnify that light for everyone that's around you too. So you get to be first, right? How cool is that? And this again isn't about like deciding you got to cut people off before you actually go in and explore what's happening. So I could use myself as an example, right? My relationship with my former husband. And it really goes to any person, any challenging person with a challenging aura to be in for you is what you want to look at. So I just wanted to drop in and give you some like tips to start kind of moving through this and maybe part of my own personal process and what I do with my clients is first being able to remove yourself. And what do I mean by that? Like, how do you remove yourself from a relationship that you're in? Not physically remove yourself from it, but simply you want to go in and learn to love yourself and embrace all of you fully. And that's a big body of work, right? I shouldn't say work, it's really our joy and our pleasure. This is where the journey of ascension and adaptation into your most exquisite health really begins, right? It's to know that discovering and really remembering who you are in your essence is your purpose. Like, that's your number one purpose here inside of your human skin on the planet, is get to discover who you truly are and fully love it so that you can express it, right? Once you're in this place of radical self-love, and again, I mean, I could go on for hours about that. That's like super fun, deep dive, delicious cellular transformation right there. But once you do that kind of exploration, you go down that path and you learn to love yourself, then you can pop back in to that challenging relationship. Like, you jump back into the ring of fire and you look at that relationship that causes you the pain so that you can heal it, right? This isn't about changing the other person, which is where a lot of us get tripped up. I know I personally did for years. It's really about giving yourself permission to stay with that person energetically, right? So like, I left my husband, but we still have a relationship because we share a daughter together. So it's looking at that and going, well, how can I give myself permission to stay with him energetically and not want to run and pull back and fight and resist, but lean in and just simply observe, right? And practice observing with compassion. So then you get to play, right? You get to start to notice all of the judgments and the feelings of like wanting to run or wanting to avoid where it gets sticky and hard, and remembering that whatever you are seeing in this partnership that's triggering you means that you actually have that quality within yourself, right? That's all a relationship is. It's relating to you. Internally, it's all just a mirror. So instead of going into the judgment and then the avoidance and then just feeling sticky and icky and trapped where you go into constriction and this is what ails your health, you get to get curious and you get to start to look at those qualities and you go back to, can I love all of me fully, even these parts that I keep hidden, which is why I see those triggers show up in the other person. Let me give you some context here, right? So you're looking, you're getting curious, and you get to be appreciative, right? You get to look at this other person now with a new set of eyes, with some compassion, saying, well, maybe they're showing up this way because of their old patterning. But it's also a time to just reflect and say, you know what? Thank you for being here. I signed up for this relationship as much as you did, so thank you for teaching me this. Every moment, like, what are you teaching me? What are you helping me remember about myself? And nothing here is for you to change, it's simply for you to witness, right? Be witness to it all. Stay neutral. And from this place, you don't have to try to change anything because it's not in your control anyway. Right? What is in your control? Be present. That's it. That's all we have, is the one moment to tune in with the goal of, how is this going to help you open up your heart more? That's what feels good. That's what allows you to step into radically exquisite, juicy health. So the more challenging a relationship is, the more curious you get to become about it, right? And this can help you express more love and more open-heartedness, which, that's the place of creation. That's the place of sensuality. That's the place of wonderment. That's the place of freedom, where we're totally open-hearted. And we're experiencing that love energy, which is the highest vibrating energy. So we go back to that aura, right? Your aura is completely radiant. And think about how that, I said that's the blueprint for what's going on with your organ systems. This is the magic. right? So when you stay present and neutral, you can really dial into the precise moment when you're dealing with this challenging aura, this person, where your heart starts to contract, when you feel that tightness, right? This is where you get to play, because your body is like, hey, this isn't feeling good. So what do you get to do? Not run from it. It's like, can I lean in? Can I be with that? Can I expand my heart, even if it's just an inch, right? Your practice is simply just to remain open. And how do you actually expand? You physically do it. You visualize your expansiveness, your heart opening up, right? You breathe in, and you breathe in, what I say, circularly and not vertically. You breathe in with expansiveness. You breathe in abundance. You breathe in, and not from this shallow, which I call vertical breath, right? You breathe in expansiveness, and you exhale, and you just simply start to allow, which is the first step in then accepting and then ultimately surrendering, which is how we transform, okay? It's simply to take a look at this beautiful gift from the universe, right? For putting this person in your life so that you now have the opportunity to shine a light on your own shadows and shift into your gifts. That's the point. That's ascension. So how do you get to become more open, more loving, right? More accepting of yourself and more accepting of others? You're at peace at this point. You can radiate a higher energy. Your aura, as I said, brightens, and you heal physically and spiritually. They go hand in hand. Then you choose from there, right? This is the magic again. Then you choose from that peaceful place whether or not you want to be around that person, or maybe the relationship just fizzles out. In the example of, dealing with maybe a former spouse where you share children together, you dealing with a partnership where you're in for a long haul, and you know that you can't, or it's a family member and you're not going to simply let that relationship fizzle out. It's either way, knowing that you are stable and that you are strong and that your health is intact, and that you can then look at the relationship with neutrality from a place of peace. Because the relationships, remember, are simply, it's really showing you a reflection, your greatest reflection, right? It's insight into your own self-realization. And it's also insight into your relationship with the relationship itself. So what you want to do, and here are my tips, right? This is what we get to go through. This is what we get to explore, is look at the relationship for the disconnections, right? What perceptions do you carry? Where do you feel like there's like no flow, where you're getting super tight, where you're getting triggered? Where are you judging? What are the stories you're telling yourself? Where are you blaming? Where are you finger pointing? This is what we do. We just blame the other person and finger point. We feel tight, we feel restricted and constricted. You're not trying to change anything, right? You're just simply noticing your own beliefs, your own triggers, and your reactions, right? Then you get to take full ownership. And now you get to choose differently. So instead of going into reactive mode, you breathe, you open up into expansiveness. You can start to see the other person with compassion. You can then start to see your own stories. And from there, you get to shift into responding consciously, right? Rather than reacting unconsciously. And even just saying those words, feel how it charges your body. Responding consciously is peaceful, and it starts to stimulate hormones that relax you versus reacting unconsciously, which is immediately hitting up and firing your adrenal glands to whoosh, give you a surge of cortisol because you're sensing that fight or flight. So even me, like my own shit that I got to shift, it was like judging my former husband for like constantly being in, fear and lack and scarcity and being so emotional and being so selfish and, thinking like, he shouldn't be entitled to indulging in all these crazy emotions, and like me going, wow, okay, that's interesting. Like, wow, like where is that showing up in my life? Wow, like, oh, that like I'm not worthy of expressing my own emotions. Okay, like breathe, allow that in, Dianne, accept that. Can I embrace that? Can I then love and honor him on his journey? Can I see that that hurt and pain he carries is from his own bullshit stories, right? And when I heal that, it unhooks me from that trigger, okay? Those hooks dissolve, and I can let that love in. I can let that joy come in, which has tons of healing around it, right? We release thousands of healing chemicals when we step into that love energy, that light. So now I can step up and I can enjoy being in his physical presence and spend time with him for my daughter, because it means the world to her. So pickups and drop-offs and coordinating, time together doesn't have to be tight, because I choose that. I relieved that pain. I healed because it was my own projections, my own stories, right? It was my shit. And when I got to shift it, I got to step into that place of love. And that's what I hope I can share with you, that little bit of insight. That's where the growth is. So hope this was helpful. Comment below, let me know. And this is the work I do. This is what we're going to get to do. I'm launching my C.H.I.L.L method in a few weeks, and we're going to get into all of this. And again, it's really about stepping into your most exquisite health, but looking at all of the areas of your life, right? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So looking at these areas of your life, like your relationships and your finances and your career and the way that you give and receive love, all of these areas are going to be in this container of like how you capture your own exquisite health. And it all starts with healing these energetic leaks that cause us to burn out. And so we're going to get to learn how to chill, really chill, so that you can unleash that love energy. If you're interested, definitely comment below, let me know. And I'll be popping on here again. Maybe I'll do another slice of training, but also comment below. Let me know if there's something specific that you want to talk about, that you'd like to hear some insight on with regard to your exquisite health journey. And again, it's integrating the mind, the body, and the soul together. It can't just be one piece. So I hope you found this helpful. Peace out. Boom. I'm so psyched for your freedom. Much love.